The moon, our nearest celestial neighbor, has long captured the imagination of dreamers who hope to explore its surface and the cosmos beyond. For eons, it remained out of reach. But today, its cratered surface is closer than ever before, and not just for governments, but for innovators and doers willing to push the very limits of what is possible.
My name is Takeshi Hakamada, founder and CEO of iSpace.
For Hakamada and his team, the moon is no longer a dream, it's a target.
We are providing lunar transportation to the government and the private sectors.
As a child, Hakamada watched science fiction and dreamt of interstellar travel. But one day at graduate school for aerospace engineering, that dream of space travel became a tangible reality.
The winner of the XPRIZE, state composite, came to the school and then provided his presentation. And it's very enthusiastic. And then I was inspired.
The inspiration stuck. And years later, Hakamada heard of a new challenge, the Google Lunar XPRIZE. The competition tasked teams with creating vehicles capable of soft landing on the moon, driving across its surface and transmitting back to Earth. For Hakamada, this was the motivation he needed to turn inspiration into action. He entered the competition with iSpace as part of Team Hakuto.
It's literally moonshot. So I didn't feel reality.
But the shock didn't last long. iSpace and Hakuto had space vehicles to build.
I feel more reality to go to the moon. The reason why I started the business comes to the XPRIZE.
Rather than trying to tackle the entire project on their own, Hakamada and his team looked for partners to work with to tackle the individual pieces of such a massive endeavor.
Without such a competition, it's really hard to find such partners. XPRIZE provided the opportunity to think more realistic way.
For their part, his team focused on creating the lunar rover, capable of driving across the moon's surface, and found other teams to rely on to help get their rover to the moon.
We concentrate on the rover part, and then we don't develop lander anymore for the transportation. So that started the more collaboration with the other team.
Their work earned them a $500,000 milestone prize from the competition. But when other teams could not complete their part of the project, iSpace's ride to the moon and the Google Lunar XPRIZE were over. But just because the competition ended without a winner, it doesn't mean its mission to accelerate access to the moon failed. With the boost from the competition, iSpace continued their work.
We also awarded the milestone prize. And then that recognition I felt very significant in Japan, because Lunar XPRIZE, that gives credibility we could survive such a competition.
iSpace set their sights on the moon once more and secured funding through connections made as a result of the competition.
We raised about $100 million, mainly in Japan, and then we got enough funding to develop 2 of lunar missions.
In 2022, atop SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket, iSpace successfully launched their first lunar lander, Hakuto-R Mission 1. As it traveled to the moon, it made history, reaching further into space than any privately funded spacecrafts before it. As it approached the moon, it maneuvered into its final descent. But just before it landed, it crashed into the surface.
One mission, it failed, we can learn a lot, and then we should continue the journey. The first mission, we did very great job as a commercial effort. Most important point is to create environment, enough foundation to iterate missions several times.
iSpace isn't deterred. They're committed to learning lessons from their first attempt, with more lunar missions planned as part of NASA's Artemis campaign.
Our engineers overcome such challenges, and that kind of the experience feedback clearly to the mission 2. Landing on the moon is our target.
Once they get there, the real work will begin.
We're going to bring our rover We're gonna capture lunar regolith as lunar soil on the lunar surface, and then declare the ownership, and then transfer the ownership to NASA. This is gonna be a commercial lunar resource transaction.
Their success could mean regular missions to the moon, aiding NASA and other space organizations in finding resources, exploring the lunar surface, and beyond.
We want to unlock resources on the lunar surface, especially water resources. We believe that resource utilization is key to initiate economy on the moon or the cislunar.
To succeed in life, you don't always need to win. Sometimes you just need to dream. iSpace's work proves that anyone brave enough to enter an XPRIZE competition can change the world and beyond.
XPRIZE is not the goal, and even after XPRIZE, there's a great journey. So please enjoy the competition and then keep working for the challenges.
To learn more and join a team, head to xprize.org.